Hola, amazing woke magic gente, and welcome to this month's monthly tarot reading. This is your monthly tarot forecast for September, and this is a reading for the collectives in the realms of creativity, of magic, in our pursuit of living and creating and becoming and manifesting our wildest dreams. I'm Brandi Sky, and I am going to be your reader for today. And for the month of September, we are ushering in a kind of energy shift that is going to take us all the way through November. And we're beginning kind of in we're dipping our toe in with this month's card. We're going to get a little bit more loud in October, and it's going to kind of culminate in November, but December is going to be a brilliant kind of opening and awakening and celebration and rebirth. But in order to get to that rebirth and in order to get to that next level, we have to start with where we're at right now. And right now in September, we are working with the Nine of Wands. So what I find really interesting is that I got this card on I got it on Monday of this week. And I didn't even know when I pulled the card on Monday that this was going to be our September card. I didn't remember. And so when I started delving into what the Nine of Wands meant for me that day, I had a really kind of epiphanic moment. And I want to share that story with you. But first, I want to remind you, if you haven't already, please make sure you download your free monthly medicine tarot reading cheat sheet. The way that I kind of designed it in my head to be of the utmost service to you and your medicine and your magic is that every month you watch this video, you print off your sheet, and as we're going through the reading, you jot down your notes, you answer the questions, and then you really you use this as a reference guide. You know, you can take it and glue it or paste it or tape it to the back of these blank pages that I give you in your Woke Magic Grimoire. So that way you can reference this again and again so you can see what patterns are showing up. How are they showing up? What is breaking through in your life? What do you need to do less of? What do you need to do more of? What does this card mean for you? And that's really what I want to invoke and invite you to do in these monthly readings is listen to it, but glean your own relationship with the card through writing and journaling and really being present to what is going on in your life. That is the way that we build relationship to the cards. It's the way we build relationship to ourselves and to our magic. So, I wanted to just read this to you, what I wrote down for the Nine of Wands before we kind of get into the reading. So I pulled this card Monday, the 28th, August 28th. And what I wrote down here is release the burden, ask for help, ask someone for help, boundaries, resolve. If you need support, ask. Voice to become who you want and are meant to be. How can I embrace it as a tool to help me create my dream faster? And so I have a love-hate relationship with AI. I'm trying to, as a writer and as a creator, I'm trying to navigate the space between what is ethical for me and what is taking the tool too far. And for me, what feels comfortable is to just play with it and maybe use it for brainstorming ideas, but that's like the end all be all. I of course use Grammarly for, my work and stuff, and that's totally different. But to actually write things, no, that's not my gig. I am first and foremost an artist, and I'm always going to do my own work. There is never going to be AI answering your emails or answering any questions. It's just not going to happen for me. But what I also realize is, as a ever evolving spirit and spiritual creative and artist, I also don't want to be one of those people who is stuck in the mud, who refuses to use the tools that are becoming available because they, I don't want to say feel better than them, but they feel like it's disastrous. It's kind of like, when the CD came up, or the Apple iPod, people were like, oh my God, music, blah, 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 blah. And people were resistant to it. The internet, like, some of the older generations and our elders are really resistant to the internet and Facebook and social media. And they're like, well, why do you need all of these things? Why can't you just be present? And I totally and 1,000% get that. But I also don't ever want to resist a tool because it's uncomfortable and because it scares me and because it's new. And so I've been trying to figure out, as an artist, how can I use AI? And so when the 9 of Wands came up for me on Tuesday, it really Monday, it really ignited a conversation with me about where am I putting up boundaries and like a rigid guard to things that could serve me if and when I decided to use them in a totally me and authentic way. And so that's where this question of AI came up with, is because the 9 of Wands suggests that we have, traditionally, the 9 of Wands suggest that we have just come out of a battle. We're in a protective mode. We are reinforcing like our boundary, and we are fighting, and we're at the end of fighting, or we're in the middle and taking a break from fighting, or we're still fighting even when there's nothing there. And so when this card came up for me, I looked at it in all three ways, and I'm going to invite you to do the same. Where are you putting up guards and a wall because life is changing and things are changing, and that momentum scares you? Where are you continuing to fight when there's really no battle, no war to be won? And then where and how can you put up a boundary between you and your environment so that you can heal your psychic wound? You can heal the intuitive wound, the psychic wound. And what I mean by that is, we are constantly being inundated with outside noise and voices and disaster reels and all these things happening in our lives. And the more that we consume that and take it in, the more we become that. We are what we take in. We are what we consume. What we eat is what we become. What we think is who we also become. And what we feed ourselves via social media, via the news, whatever, is also what the state in which we stay in, marinate in, and believe the world to be in. And that is not to say that we bypass it, because if y'all know anything about me, I am very much about staying rooted and planted in this world and not bypassing the very real oppression and systemic racism and isms that are happening to my people, to folks like me, to other marginalized folks. But what it does mean is, where can you start to be a little bit smarter about putting a boundary in place so that you are not feeding yourself that kind of food. And what I mean by food is that mental nourishment of the things that you don't want to see. For me, the 9 of Wands is asking us to, yes, there is a battle going on. Yes, there is war and all these things raging metaphorically, all of the above. But where we come in as creatives, as artists, as dreamers, as magic makers and change makers and fire starters, where we come in is, we don't bring folks more of the same, right? We don't perpetuate what's already there. We don't solidify or amplify the problem. What we do is we focus on making our life, our work, and our art part of the solution. And the Nine of Wands this month is asking you to look at those places where you are unconsciously putting up a boundary or a border where you really need open space, but also where can you maybe shut down. Instead of watching the news like 5 times a day, you can watch it once. You can get a kind of evening download or afternoon download of what's going on. Or you can check your email once instead of 85 billion times a day. Hashtag guilty. You can Instagram, instead of scrolling or following people who are in your lives and saying things that don't align with you, or being and acting in a manner that is not where you want to go. Why not just delete them? I literally did that this last week. I went through and there was just some really kind of folks on my feed and their energy where I was like, that is not in alignment. And what I need to do is I need to put a barrier between that, because there is enough going on in the real, like in the world of all that bullshit, that I don't need a place that is supposed to be an online home and be a outlet for my creativity. I don't need to see more of that. I know what the fuck is going on. I live it every day. And I'm guaranteeing that if you are here, you are too. You don't need a constant reminder. What I need and what we all need is space to go, okay, I know the problem. I need space so I can feel into how the fuck I'm going to be a part of this solution. And that's what the Nine of Wands is asking us to be. It's saying, how can I put up some kind of energetic barrier so that I'm not constantly inundated with all the things that I know are happening, so that I then can create space to look beyond it and see what is potentially possible for all of us in the future, right? Not just me or you, but we, us. So what I really want to invite all of us to do is think about how the things that we have in our environment, the things that we feed our brains, the things that we feed our body, the people that we hang out around, how are they helping or are they hindering your creative, your psyche, your intuition? Or are they adding another stitch to this wound, this covering on the wound? Are they helping you move past in some way, shape, or form of supporting your growth through your trauma? Or are they wanting to keep you there? And what I'm asking is really hard to do. But that's part of the work and why we're here, right? We're here to be creative problem solvers, to use our life and our work as our movement, as to create impact, to change ourselves so then we can change the world. And we can't do that if we allow anything and everything in. We at some point have to say, okay, in order for me to create and be part of the solution, I need to take radical care of myself. I need to put up a wall and say, I need the space for me so I can think and I can breathe and I can move and I can download and create. And so why I'm sharing this, had I not put those barriers into place, had I not put some energetic, energetic walls up, if you will, and created my own space, right? My own space that exists on the other side of this, wall, instead of just standing guard all the time, creating this space back here. If I hadn't done that for myself, I wouldn't have been open to receive the Firestarter, the download for the Firestarter books that I pitched to Hay House. I wouldn't have been able to hear that as my contribution to this, my contribution to the solution. And I wouldn't have had enough room and space in my mind if I was, because like, I am one of those people that if I watch the news every day, if I put myself through that and in that every single day, I will drive myself crazy. I have been there. I have been so angry, and it's not even to a point where it's like healthy. It's to a point of obsession. It's to a point where it induces self-harm. And I don't mean physically, I mean like emotionally, because I used to take on the problems of the world and my people and our plights as if they were my own. And they are my own because I am and forever will be an artivist and a part of those communities. But I am no good to anyone if I am completely just weighed down by the weight of the world versus knowing that it exists, not bypassing it, asking myself the question, I know this exists, how can I be a part of the solution? And then opening myself up to it. And when I give myself space, when I've allowed myself to do that, and this has literally been a journey that I've been on for like the past maybe 2.5 years, because I've been so used to being in the thick of activism and just being angry all the time. And I still am, and I still get that way. But now I understand that in order for me to move my people forward, I have to give myself the grace of space to receive what the answer is or what the solution might be, and then create it. And that allowed me to download this book that I know is going to change the world. Just like I know Firestarter is going to change the world. And those things would not, those ofrendas to the solution would not have been possible had I stayed stuck in the repetitive cycle of consuming, being angry, consuming, being angry, bitching on Facebook, consuming, being angry, and not really doing or using my skills to move all of that towards solution. And all of that, all of what I just shared with you came up on Tuesday when I pulled the 9 of Wands. And so when I realized that it was our September card of the month, I was like, okay, I guess we're going to go there. I guess I'm going to go there with y'all, because I always want to be honest about what the cards say and mean, not just for me, but for us as a collective. And, you know, we're moving into elections and all of this, and there's just going to be so muchness out there. And what I really want us to do, and what the cards are really asking us to do this month is September, is really begin to prep our environment, prep our space, prep ourselves, and really begin to see what is really important. What does it mean for us to be a part of the solution? And how can we use our skills, our talents, and our gifts to, sure, bring us joy, bring us money, bring us whatever we want, but also for and of the highest good of all involved and the betterment for all of us as a people, as spirit, as interconnected light beings. And like I said, the next couple of months are going to get pretty heavy, which is why it's so important for you to start putting those energetic boundaries into place, putting those boundaries within yourself, and really kind of grasping what it means to lead yourself on a daily basis to keep your channel clear enough to receive what wants to come to you and through you and be gifted to you, while also holding that nugget of whatever it is I am gifted or asked to do, I'm going to do it for the betterment of us all. But I can only do that when I put my own oxygen mask on first. For the month of September, I really want to invite all of us to put our own oxygen mask on first and put those boundaries in place with ourselves, with our family, with what we consume, all of the above, mind, body, spirit, all of our consumption, and really begin to put tools into place that will help us through the rough times, because our tools are really there for us all the time, right? And when life is great, you're like, no, tools, I don't need them. But then like when life and shit hits the fan, you're like, holy fuck, thank God I have these tools, because that's when we need them most. And energetic boundaries, daily card pools, a mindset of solution base are the things that are the tools that are going to help you get through the tough times that may be happening now, tough times that may be happening in the future, or anything else that surprisingly comes into your way that you weren't expecting, good or bad. So I hope that you found this reading helpful. I would love to hear what your thoughts are in the comments below. Let me know what I would love for you to do. Your homework for this month is to really sit with your energy and your boundaries, and then let me know what you're deciding to do. Just give me one energetic boundary, psychic boundary, consummation? No. Consuming boundary. Just drop one of those in the comments below, and I would love to just give you any support and guidance that I have. I cannot wait to see what beautiful solutions come up when you give yourself the space and room to grow and expand. I love y'all so, so much. I will see you next month, or in Sacred Creatrix, or in the new Praxis Portal, which is a 3-month, 90-day one-on-one beta mentorship program. And if you're curious, you can just DM me on Instagram and I will give you all the details. Until next month, I love you, sending you so much protection and love and solution blessings. In Lakesh.